Good morning, I am Kim Kelly, exercise and sports nutritionist. We have actually already gone through the intro to eating, the 5 common mishaps, mistakes, misconceptions that people think when they think of food and how it correlates to goals and changes. So now we actually are talking about goals and how we are going to make sure that we are prepared psychologically for how our goals related to food intake are important. And of course, just like your overall goal that you want to make sure that it's specific, measurable, and attainable, it's the same correlation that you have to have with your intake. It has to be specific, measurable, and attainable. For number 1, you want to understand what is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish. Because without understanding what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you can't necessarily have the ideal intake because you are crossing paths. So once you do understand what you are trying to accomplish, then you can make your intake match that goal. So for example, say I have a genetic reason to be concerned with heart disease. Well, if that is the case, then I want to make sure that my intake has a reduction in saturated and trans fats, that I up on the omegas and the polyunsaturated fats. And I want to make sure that I have enough fiber in my diet and also vitamin D so that I can help process that cholesterol. Number 2 is that you want to make sure that you outline the steps in order to get to your goals. So again, we're just using for the case of this example is we have a genetic reason to be concerned with cholesterol. Okay, so what is it that we want to make sure? Well, we always want to make sure where we are currently at. And once we understand where we're currently at, we can then outline the steps in order to make those changes for cholesterol in different ways that we can address it throughout the outline process. So obviously we get our lab tests from our doctor, we understand what our cholesterol values are, we start to make some basic dietary and exercise changes. Then we may check in 6 weeks and see what our cholesterol is then and if we've made an impact through what we've currently done. And if so, we keep going. And if not, then we make a different change. But that outline will help make sure that we are working towards that goal of preventing a heart attack or heart disease based on our genetic history. Number 3 is a psychological prep for change. It happens more frequent than not that even though we are aware of where we want to be, we've clearly established what our goal is, we've actually clearly outlined what the process is, somewhere in our brain we forget that it's not just about being aware of what needs to happen, but putting it into place. And it's that psychological prep that deters people from putting it into place. So once you're aware that it takes something like 30 to 45 times of repetition to change a behavior, maybe you'll be more lenient on yourself and realize how important consistency is in order for you to impact your health and achieve your goals. Also being aware that food related to our psyche is huge. I mean, we have entire channels dedicated to food. We have entire channels and shows dedicated to weight loss and understanding that we know that it's a behavior pattern that has to change. It's sometimes a lifetime worth of behavior patterns, or sometimes it's a slump. Either way, you have to be aware of the psychological challenges that you have and that you're going to face while you're trying to go through each one of your outline processes in order to achieve your specific goal. And number 4 is making sure that we have a timeline and checkpoints and a system of accountability. Some people think that it's kind of silly that you have to ask somebody or work with a system or document things in a journal in order for you to make changes for yourself. You know, it's kind of crazy that we haven't learned that we have to take care of ourselves first in order to take care of others and to be able to be successful in many other dynamics of our life, but that's for a different video. So anyways, when we are talking about intake, it's about actually saying that for example, that we have consumed our specific amount of polyunsaturated fats, that we've done our fish oil and all of that during the day, and that at that 6-week mark that I have really achieved what I wanted to in order to change my cholesterol. And the accountability in this example would either be the physician or even yourself if you documented some sort of project outline in a project manager or Outlook, or set reminders for yourself in your calendar, even to remind yourself to take your vitamins. You want to always have some sort of system of accountability that's not allowing you to get distracted by life in order for you to accomplish your goals. And number 5 is to understand why you are doing what you are doing. Because if you don't understand why, then you don't understand what's motivating you. You don't understand why you have that desire to make that change. So I always want to make sure that when I try to get my clients to think of why they're doing something, that it is something past vanity. It's not just about losing 10 pounds to get in a bathing suit, but it's because 10 pounds makes a difference to their heart health, to their joint health, that genetically they can afford to have 50 more pounds on their body, that their heart needs to be exercised, because if you don't use it, then it becomes tired easily, and it doesn't help you for the whole longevity frame of mind. So understanding the why is going to help you to stay focused and motivated and keep that desire for change. So we've talked about all of this structure in order for you to get your goals, and we've talked about the food and making it correlate with your goals and being exact and realistic with yourself. Also creating timelines and a plan, an agenda to get you to where you need to go, including some of your intake plans. So what we're going to do throughout the next couple of video series is actually make some food. I know everybody likes to get quick, fast, convenient, healthy, and taste good, and we've got all the bases covered. So I look forward to continuing this 10-week journey and getting everybody to their goals. And just to remind you, I'm Kim Kelly, and I believe in the power of women.